silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type.
And for sure, it's going down.
So a lot of times people are not getting the value. When to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful.
She's going to be aggressive, thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years,
She's driven, not lazy, and this will make yourself and get on the right path. That
understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter if you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making. Now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't
live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should.
My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit mrsdanielledevita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today.
Welcome to another live with Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am Danielle. I am a femininity and relationship coach. And as you know, we have a series that we will be doing. I will be bringing men onto the show, successful men, to speak about their experiences in the dating pool. So we will reconvene in that next week. I have some people that I'm trying to get in the works of coming on. If you don't know, I have live streams every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless stated otherwise. All right. So let's get started with a few housekeeping rules. If you are interested in joining the conversation, then you can do so by going to the chat. You can also call the number on the screen, 813-816-1813. All right. If you feel that you are a successful man and you want to be a part of this conversation, you can jump onto the camera and we can talk about it. All right. Or if you want to schedule a time to get on one of the lives, you can go to mrsdanielledevita@gmail.com. We also have, or info@mrsdanielledevita.com, either one. If you are a woman, because I will be doing the next series with women, if you are a woman and you want to voice your opinion about the dating pool, and you don't have to necessarily agree with me, but if you are interested in your opinion being, known, go ahead and get on to one of the lives or reach out to me to schedule a time to be on the live so you can have a proper setup. Again, I do live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested, you can go to Mrs. Danielle DeVita@gmail.com to let me know that you're interested. All right. So if you didn't know, I have a book that's coming out very soon. It should be going to all of the online stores, as well as actual books that you can, hard copies that you can get in order. It is called Command Respect from the Woman You Want. You see that at the bottom of your screen. It's a quick guide for men. Now, if you're a woman, you want to read that book. This is just pretty much a book that's going to help you understand who you should submit and vet to and who you should.
I didn't understand that.
Look at that. Google trying to hear everything I'm saying. But I will say, if you are a woman and you're like, well, I just want to read the book, it is for men, but it'll give you an idea of what kind of men you should be vetting. Right? These are the type of men you should respect, submit to, and things like that. Not to say that you should disrespect anyone, but this is the type of person that will be a great man. Right? If you are a woman and you're like, well, what about a book for me? I have one. It'll be coming out in the spring, and it's called Girl, Go Get Your Husband. And it'll be things that you need to do as a woman to make sure that you're ready and prepared to be a wife. Right. And if you are a teenager and you're saying, well, I'm not there yet, I'm just 16, 17, I'm just trying to navigate boyhood. Maybe you're in college and you're not yet, in your 20s, or you're not ready to get in that stage yet. There's a book for you, and it's called Boy Bye. So this is typically for teenage girls. So take a look into that. When that comes out, I'll keep bringing it up, right? But we're going to get right into these videos because I think it's highly important to talk about these videos. So let's get right to it. Um, let's see here. I'll play this video, and I have 3 videos for you, and then we'll get off this stream. But I want to leave you with some nuggets here. Let me get the right one up first. This is a video I think I say this a lot. If you've watched enough of my content, you know what I said femininity is. It's a type of energy. It's what you represent. Loving, kind, generous. A lot of the fruit of the spirit. If you're someone who's spiritual and read the Bible, you encompass these things, and you definitely know how to pick your battles. That's part of being a peaceful woman. But I'm gonna let you listen to this man saying that. So let's.
And to be
Here we go.
quite honest with you, I don't care why you masculine. I
It
don't
don't
care.
even matter.
I don't care what happened to you as I'm a 40-year-old man. I
You
don't
got a
care.
daughter?
No, I don't.
Because
But
we
that's not
know
the
if
point.
you're
But my
feminine.
point is this.
Now, this is something I hear women say. They're ready to say, don't you have a mom or black mom, or don't you have a mom, or don't you have a daughter? These are the type of things that women say to retort a man's, to invalidate a man's thoughts. I understand that sometimes we hear people saying self-hating things, and you're like, don't you come from a woman? But in that scenario, that did not fit. Like, he has a daughter, but it still doesn't negate what he said. But we're gonna keep going. So here we go.
You all wouldn't care if a man came to you feminine and said, "My dad wasn't in my life. My mom didn't teach me this." You say, "Bro, you 38 years old. I don't want to deal with a feminine man that hasn't addressed his issues." So for me, dealing with a woman that way, I'm going to tell you the same thing. I understand you had issues or whatever growing up and you had to be a certain way, but I'm not going to put up with it as far as trying to be in a relationship with you because you don't know how to be a feminine woman. That's
So
what
what's
I'm
a feminine woman? What's your definition?
a woman that basks in her femininity. She knows how to be submissive to a man. She knows how to speak life into a man. She knows how to nurture. She knows how to take care of a home and take care of kids. She knows how to be accountable. She knows how to be reasonable. She knows how to be understanding when she's dealing with a man, and knows which battles to choose when she's dealing with a man.
Okay, so when we listen to this man speak about what it is to be feminine, a lot of times women hate the term, being submissive. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make it clear right now. If that word triggers you, it's one of two things. One, you have either heard or seen people, men specifically, abuse his leadership, his power, right, in a controlling way. So he wants a woman who's submissive, but he's controlling. He's a tyrant, essentially. He misuses that by belittling the woman. And so that's what she sees other people, they're being submissive to that man. Or you, as a woman, have been submissive in some form of, or what you thought was submissive. And that man abused that power with you. He misused it. So the reason why that term doesn't bother me is not because I'm weak. It's not because I think men rule the world and I am nothing and I have no voice. It's not that. It's because who I decided to submit to. The person that I'm submitting to, my husband, he is a man who knows how to love. He pulls all of my strengths out, not take advantage of my weaknesses. He is someone who is loving. He is someone who is a leader. He is someone who takes care of the things that he needs to take care of, his priorities, and he is dedicated to me and the children. So a lot of times people hear that term, they hear that word submissive, and it is a trigger word because they have found that a man who requires submission is either not, reciprocating in the way that he needs to as a man, or doing what he needs to as a man. And so that term is like, a painful or sore word. My goal for you is to find a man who is leading, right? And I've told you several times what leading is, because that's the man you submit to. This man is loving. He elevates you. right? And when I say loving, in everything he says and does, so there can't be inconsistencies in that. He can't say he love you but hit you, right? Or give you hugs and flowers and all of these things, but then speaks to you nasty, right? He's elevating you, not bringing you down. That's E. A, he aspires for greatness. This is not some man who's sitting on the couch accepting mediocrity. This is a man who is a go-getter, and he is a provider and a protector. This is also a man who is D, dedicated to the things and the people who he says he loves. You are a priority in his life. His children are a priority in his life, right? S, he serves his community, right? That means he's living out his purpose. You too have a purpose. But I always say submission. So, of course, the word submission is something confined in marriage, but the submission outside of that, it really is a form of respect. And you can show respect prior to being married to someone. So when you think of that word submission, just think of respecting him, his views, his thoughts, and his ability to lead. Right. All right. So when I say this, because a lot of times when people listen to that, they heard submission and they're immediately turned off. They heard, oh, cooking and cleaning. Okay, well, think about it. What's wrong with cooking and cleaning for the man you chose and for the children you bore? You created these children. Why would you not want to cook for them? This is also your house. You live in it. Why would you not want to clean it? This is your man that you say you love. Why would you not want to take care of him? Why would you not want to speak to him in a loving manner? Why would you not want to be peaceful and less confrontational with the man that you say you love? And if there's so much confrontation, so much issues, then the question is, why are you with him? So again, this is full circle. All right. So when you hear about this term femininity and when he describes it in this way, this is a woman who is proudly doing these things because it's a man who's deserving for it. If it's a man who's not deserving for it, then you don't apply these standards to it, because then it goes to vetting. You're not properly giving your goods, your body, your time, your respect to the proper man. That all goes to vetting. So if you have a problem with what his definition is of a femininity, problem isn't femininity, it's who you're giving it to. All right, so now it's time for the next video. Because this one is a little concerning and a lot of people are talking about it. So let me play this video.
When I hear a woman say, make a man wait 90 days before you have sex, if I said, okay, then you need to wait 90 days before he takes you out on a date. You need to wait 90 days before he spends a single dollar on you. You need to go ahead and talk to him every day or however often for 90 days before he decides to invest in you as you are going to be invested in him.
Okay, really quick. I've talked several times on my channel that I think that a lot of people say that that's a cheap date. I don't mind a walk in the park and we having full-blown conversations. We're talking every day, all often, if not every day. I don't mind us having coffee dates, things like that, because the whole point of the dating phase is to get to know that person, not the ambiance, right? Who cares about the restaurant? Who cares about where we go? Those things are fun and exciting, but the idea is to get to know you. So I talk about this often, about having quality time with the person, because the more activities you're doing while you're with someone. So like, let's say you are doing a particular activity and that is the date. Your time and your energy is focused on the activity. All you see them is in the moment of that activity. But when you are having conversation and hearing the words come out their mouth, the thought process, you're likely to get more information. You're allowed to ask more questions, see where their mindset is, where their standards and their values are. It's hard to do that when y'all are both, on some fancy, excursion, right? And yes, you can do that while you're eating, but eating is just something you do, but while you get to know each other, just to fill in the time. But if you truly like a person, if someone really like the person, it doesn't matter where you are. What matters is the conversations you're having. So I'm all for that. I think that if every woman and every man said, you know what, we're going to squash all of this extra stuff and get straight to talking and having full diving conversations, I'm all for it. However, there's a conversation that he's going to say after that it doesn't line up with what he said before. So we're going to keep going.
It is the standard to spend money. Okay? For me to get your time, I have to spend money somewhere. In most cases,
And for all women, you don't have to spend money. Yes, there's some type of investments and time, but you don't. For women these days, a lot of women want They feel like for you to invest time, I need the 5-star restaurants. I need this. I need that. And then that goes to you properly vetting the correct woman, not just a woman who looks good and she's just what they call high maintenance. You want to take the time to get the right woman, because if all she want, if if you can't get a date with her without doing those things, that's a problem. Again, a woman who truly likes you, that does not matter.
You want a Capital Grill, that's gonna cost money. I gotta take you at a place that you deem is valuable for you to sit at, right? Which is gonna cost me money, instead of saying, hey, you know what? The realistic thing is, if we just sat here and talked to each other for 90 days, and I'm like, okay, cool. If I FaceTime you, I can't FaceTime you more than, once or twice a week unless I had actually started to invest money in you for 90 days. I'm wrong. So I'm not saying that your box is in exchange for money. What I'm saying is that for me to actually
I mean, actually, you are. You are saying their boxes exchange for money. For those who do not know what box is, this is a woman giving up her center, a piece of her body. But, dude, I mean, Capital Grills, not that any restaurant matters, but Capital Grill, okay, like you could get a meal for $40 a plate there. It ain't red. It ain't Ruth Chris, and Ruth Chris is not even like all that. So I I kind of feel like, you know, I'm all for women not, like, no one needs to be doing anything in those 90 days, because half the time the people, you can weed out half the people, and who wants to waste their time giving their body to someone who wasn't worth it? Most of the time guys won't even have you exclusive until around 90 days, right? You're in this probation period, just like at a job. So why waste your time giving out something that's supposed to be valuable to yourself? Now, I agree that you should be having conversations, having talks with people, but it's highly important to not have a man equate your body to money. Money comes and go, but your body, I just don't understand how sometimes men say in one breath, you have a high body count and I can't deal with you. And then in the same breath, you say, well, no sex, no date. If you say that, if every man said that, how could she have a low body count if every man is requiring that? Right. And again, I'm not requiring that a man spends a lot of money. I don't even think a man, that's not even financially sound to spend that much money on a first or second and third date and all those things, right? I think having conversations is better, getting to know people. And I'm not saying this because it sounds good. I'm telling you guys, I've been married for 13 years, and that's what I did to get my husband. We had conversations. Our dates weren't that expensive because the date was just a fun time. That was when we spent time, but we spent numerous times having conversation after conversation, getting to know each other, walking and talking. That's what we did. So, and this is why I'm telling you, you want to be with someone who is getting to know you for you. I truly believe if you guys did what he said, no one's having sex, no one's truly spending money, but you guys are having conversation. I believe the guy will find out if he likes you or not. If he does, then you can move forward. That will weed a lot of women out some of your man's life. If you're a man who's listening, you would weed a lot of women out of your life by realizing, okay, if she's all for the money, she's just trying to get free food, she's just trying to use me, you can move her out your life and have time for the woman who's actually truly interested in you. Now, if sex is all you wanted, then this won't serve the purpose. But if a guy truly did that and say, you know what, let's just chill out for a minute and get to know each other. And if she was like, well, we ain't doing this, we're not spending money, let her go. And if you're a woman and you truly want to spend time with the man, and all that matters to him is sex, then you might want to let it go. I think the reason why the dating pool is what it is, because no one is investing in time in talking, but they invest time in sex. Because I'm telling you, money comes and go. So money is not attached to a man. It comes and go. But you can have babies, right? You can have STDs, and you can have all of this trauma by having bodies after bodies after bodies as a woman. It's an emotional thing when women have sex. So, man, of course you won't get that. But would you go and tell your daughter that when it's time for her to be 16 and go on her date? Would you tell her, hey, if you're going on a date with him, you better come back having given him some? You wouldn't. All right. So that's my thought on that. I'm gonna let him finish this, and then we'll go to the next video.
To get your time, I have to spend money. But yeah, I can spend your money and get your time, but never get nothing out of it. Is not fair to a man.
Hold on. You just said I can spend money and get your time, but I don't get nothing out of it. You did get something out of it. You got time to get to know her, to see if she's worth it. And if you would have, especially if she's a pleasant person, you got to know a beautiful soul. You got to know someone that you're able to build with. So what do you mean you got nothing out of it? Now, if a woman of all she wanted out of it was your money, then she's not worth you. But if you say you got nothing out of it, then all you wanted was sex. You can't say you got nothing out of it if she truly gave her time. She gave you quality time. She gave you respect. She gave you positive energy. She gave you, feminine attitude. Like, are you kidding me? So yes, it's not fair to a man who only came in to get some really quick. That's who it's not fair to, because he had to wait to get what he wanted in the beginning, right? But a man who actually takes the time to get to know you and truly liked you, then that's not time wasted. Right? If you spend all this time with her and you still felt like you got nothing out of it, then she's not valuable to you. It's time to get out of those relationships where we're getting with people and they add no value to our life. If the only thing they added was their looks and sets and or money, then we need to get out those relationships. We need to be in relationships where people add value to you. I wouldn't be married now to my husband if he added no value to my life. And a lot of people wondering why they're not married, because you're with people who add nothing to you. They take away. They suck the life out of you, the energy, the money, the time, pieces of you as a woman. So let's get to the next video. Because this video is about a woman who thinks it's a red flag for a man who doesn't have children. And that's the crazy mindset we're in today, that a man who doesn't have kids is not that, oh, wow, you've taken the time to take care of yourself and not just go and get women pregnant, because that's what women complain about. But now we're talking about it's a red flag because of your age and you don't have kids. So let's talk about this.
I ain't got no kids. I got my own motion going on.
Flag.
Huh?
What?
Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. What you about to say?
Why do listen? I know like having sex before marriage is bad, but it's 2022. Like, what has gone on in your life that you have not had a kid?
I don't have kids.
You're different. Like, but for men, it's just kind of like, why don't you have a kid? What happens?
Because I don't want a kid yet.
Maybe it's
I'm responsible. What do you?
It's not responsible. Like, especially if a nigga's like mad.
So it's okay for you to ask him that question. What's wrong with you that you don't have kids and you're 35? So then it's fair for a man to ask what's wrong with you and you're 30 and not married? Is that a fair question? Because if that's what we're going to start doing with men, saying that it's a red flag that you're not married or that you don't have kids, then it begs the question, if you're right now, if you're over 30 and you've never been married, not those who've been married, but if you are over 30 and you have yet to be married, why? Is that a red flag that no one has seen you valuable enough to put a ring on your finger? And if you are someone who is, whether no matter what age you are, if you have a child and you have yet to be married, then the question would be, what's wrong with you that the person was willing to have a lifelong connection with you, but not willing to give his name? Now, if someone said that to you, you'd find that disrespectful. And it's disrespectful to tell a man something's wrong with you because you don't have children. So do you understand the mindset that we have today? That's a red flag. Not all the other red flags where men are running around having multiple children and not committing to them. It's not a red flag for women to go from man to man to man to man to man, not taking the time to heal and figuring out what's wrong with these relationships. What's the common denominator? Those aren't red flags. right? It's not a red flag to be with a man who's laying up in the house and not working, but you're working overtime just to make ends meet, but you still give your body to him, although he sits at home all day. Or a guy who is doing illegitimate means because you need fast money. These aren't red flags, but this is a red flag. A man who's taking the time to not create children out in the world when he's not ready. I think that the world that we live in is becoming crazy. I think it's becoming quite sad, because social media is having an influence, because these channels like this, a lot of people are viewing them and they're co-signing it. Yeah, yeah, that's right. And again, make no mistake, a few people may say things here and there that are right, but see, the intentions behind it can have, and the motives behind it can still have, negative consequences, because people see it and they receive it and they apply it in the wrong context of situations. And they're like, especially if you get a guy who takes what the gentleman before said about the dates, and all he says is, well, you're not getting any money from me unless I get some. Now it becomes a transactional relationship. That's what you treated her as, rather than the whole intent was, let's not focus on all these outside things and focus on each other and getting to know each other. But instead of men thinking of it that way, it's okay, if you don't give me this, I don't give you that. There's a tit for tat, there's a retaliation. If you don't give me your body, I'm withholding any of my time, any of my money, and I'm doing it in a negative way where I'm not going to be open to getting to know you and receive the value that you could offer me, right? And then when we hear things like this woman say, well, it's a red flag, then we get to the point where then we're okay. Then we see men who are on a straight and narrow, straight laced dude, right? We see him as a square. We see him as boring. We see him as lame because he's not doing what the status quo. He's not doing what most men in society are doing. That's lame, right? So then we start to society. The motive behind it is to make people think that all things that are good and right is bad. Do you see how twisted that is? Do you see the society that we live in? Things that are normal, we're calling that weird. All right. And then again, like I said, the femininity thing, a lot of people may not like what that man was saying about what true femininity is. But if you want to be a married woman, you need to know what that is. We require men to be masculine. We require men to be leaders. We require men to be providers, protectors, lovers, good in bed, tall, money, this and that. And the minute they require us to look good, to be feminine, to be fit, to be positive, to be peaceful, to cooperate with us, we got an attitude of saying men are requiring too much of us. And we know doggone well we can't even get with a man in that league because we're not there in the mindset. We're not there emotionally and spiritually. And we require so much in a man, and we think, oh, all these men on the podcast are talking crap. This is why I don't fool with men. Is that really why? Is that really why? And this is very frustrating because we're looking at the dating pool and we see that it's shrinking. We see that the quality is not there, and we're both blaming each other. Men are blaming women, women are blaming men, when we should all take a look at ourselves and see what can we do better. Because every time we say, well, the person I was with was toxic, that's why I had to leave that relationship, like we weren't toxic. And then we, instead of working on ourselves, we move to the next relationship, toxicity and all, and wondering why that man is toxic and our children are toxic, because we brought that from one relationship to the next. We didn't check our bags, right? We just brought that little carry-on bag with us and we just took off and thought that what was behind us should be gone, when we didn't realize we took pieces with us. We took soul ties with us. We took trauma and drama with us. So I hope that you guys will learn from this, from what I said in these videos, and that we can get better. My videos is to help both men and women. I like to advocate men, especially black men, because a lot of people are putting men down. Like there's no good men around. The reason why I do these videos is because I'm a woman. I see how women act, no matter what race, um, um, and I know that how we can be. You're gonna have a lot of content talking about what men are doing wrong, but what about what women are doing wrong? We have all this content directed towards the men. How are we getting better? Because no one's telling us what we can do better as women, right? My goal is not to tell how men can do and be better, but my goal is to show, well, this is what a woman that you want, this is what she will respect. So you may want to make sure you have your affairs in order. You want to make sure you're masculine, you're providing, and you're protecting, and you're loving, and you're leading, right? And then as a woman, you want to make sure you're respectful, and you make sure you put your image together, because men are visual, right? You want to make sure that you have your mindset together, right? And a lot of times people don't want to change. They think ain't nothing wrong with me, I'm good. Oh, because you are successful, you thought your money made you good. Oh, because you look good, you thought you were there. But emotionally, and you are going from one relationship to the next, and you're trying to figure out what's going on here. And if not, you'll be like Matt and Khadijah and Regine from Living Single, trying to figure out what's wrong with me. Regine had it all together in the looks department. She still couldn't get a man. Khadijah had it all together, had a successful job, couldn't get a man. Of course, in the end, those two, did. And then you got Matt's got it all together in the work department, corporate America, and she couldn't get that with a man. So a lot of times we equate our job status, we equate our degrees, our money, and we think we are the bomb. But no, you were a ticking bomb in your relationship. Your relationships are blowing up everywhere. And you're wondering why. Look no further. I'm here to tell you, a lot of times it's femininity and being in relationships longer than you need to be in. So if you're in a relationship that's not working for you, go ahead and do some crossroads. If you want to know what the crossroads are, I have a whole live stream talking about nothing but crossroads. So go back there. All right, so my time is up. I'll see you guys next week on Tuesday. I truly appreciate you coming on to my live stream here. All right, so you guys take care. And Brandon McGowan, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you coming onto my live stream. As a loyal viewer you are, I appreciate it. You all have a great day. Y'all take care.
Perk 101. So a lot of times women say that you can't afford me. And if you want to be a feminine woman, realize that you are not an escort. And committed relationships ought not to be transactional. As you rest in your femininity and learn your worth, you will realize that the men you are with should see you as invaluable and priceless like no other. And yes, you can have shopping sprees, 5-star dinners, and trips, but those things won't make you different and won't set you apart. Things that are priceless and invaluable, money can't buy. Money can't buy peace in a relationship. Money can't buy your love. Money can't buy your joy, your joyful spirit. It cannot buy your gentleness, kindness, your self-control is in controlling your emotions and how your responses to things, your personality, your attitude or mindset as a whole. If you notice, these are also fruit of the spirit from the Bible, right? If you're looking to be a Proverbs 31 woman, you definitely want to make sure you have these. So if you're having talking points of you can't afford me, realize that these are talking points of a basic chick or a modern woman. You want to be different. So get on your feminine journey today. You can also visit mrsdanielledevita.com or visit me on other social media platforms.